Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today we'll be talking about the NFL draft in 2025. So if you guys do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. Let's get into this video of us predicting and doing mock drafts for the 2025 NFL draft. So far it is what? It is November 8th. We're how many weeks are we into the season? We're 10 weeks in the season, 11 weeks. Yeah, so we're almost about, I don't know, 60% of the way through the season. Pretty up here soon. We're gonna have the ending of college football season in a few weeks. So these are where I stand on these prospects and based off the rankings of this current week. So at number one, we have the New England Patriots. I don't see the Patriots staying here. I don't see it happening. I think the Patriots, they're in the middle of a rebuild. They've got to trade back. If I'm the Patriots, I am trading back, and I'm going to the New York Giants. I'm saying, hey, we will trade back with you right now. 7 is the first that we were willing to go back because we still need a top tier blue chip prospect. So I'm going to make this trade around the one that went from the Bears to the Panthers. So it was 2 firsts, 2 seconds for number 1 on top of Jalen Hyatt. So Jalen Hyatt has had 1 catch this entire year, former 2nd or 3rd round pick of the Giants. He's not being used in the scheme. The Patriots need another wide receiver. Let's force this trade to go through. So 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a wide receiver not being used in the Giants offense to the Patriots for number 1 overall. We're going to force this trade. This is exactly what the Bears gave up to the Panthers. Instead, it was DJ Moore. Jalen Hyatt, former 2nd round pick. I do think that is a trade that could happen. So the Giants now have number 1 overall, and I have them grabbing Shedeur Sanders. I think Shedeur Sanders is the exact mold of quarterback that Brian Daboll really wants. A guy who can use his legs, but also uses his arm talent, his decision making to make plays happen. I think Shedeur Sanders is a lot like Josh Allen, but I think Shedeur can make his own path as well. I think with his arm, Shedeur is going to be one of the better quarterbacks in this draft. So yeah, Shedeur Sanders go number 1 overall. And that gives me, at number 2, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to go Travis Hunter. Yes, back-to-back picks from Colorado. Travis Hunter, but at corner, not at wide receiver. So they've already tried to trade Christian Kirk to the Steelers, but he had an injury, is out for the rest of the year. So Travis Hunter, play cornerback, make a lockdown corner in Jacksonville, but maybe have a few snaps at wide receiver a game, make him happy because he wants to play both positions in the NFL. I just don't think it's possible. So make Travis Hunter your corner, but have a few plays made specifically for him at wide receiver. Just so he's a little happy, whether it's in the red zone, wherever. So, number 3, we have the Saints. And I'm going to do yet another trade because the Saints also need to trade and get as many draft picks as they can. I'm going to go to the Tennessee Titans, and they're going to give up a first, a 3rd, and then the Saints will give up 3 and 139. So this is the trade package I'll be giving for number 3 overall. It's 2 first-round picks, a future 2nd, and a late 3rd, and for 115 and 139. They move up from 139 to 115. So they move up 24 spots in the NFL draft this year in the 3rd round. Then you get 2 picks next year as well. So I think that's a pretty solid trade for both teams as well. The Saints get another 1st-round pick next year and a 2nd-round pick next year. They move up 24 spots in the draft. And the Tennessee Titans move up 6 spots in this draft. And they grab their quarterback, which is going to be Cam Ward. I do think Cam Ward he's my number 2 quarterback, right? He's my number 2 quarterback. In some drafts, I would have him as my number 1, but I think Shedeur Sanders has a higher ceiling. Cam Ward, the way he can play, even when there's pressure in the backfield, just nonchalantly, beautiful throw, beautiful mechanics. I'm a very big fan of Cam Ward. I wish he could make it to the Browns, but the Browns at 5, I don't see him slipping past 3 or 4. I just don't see it happening. And the Tennessee Titans now get their quarterback of the future. The Carolina Panthers then will be grabbing Will Johnson out of Michigan. I think the Panthers need to shore up this defense, get themselves a true bona fide cornerback number 1. For me, it's between Benjamin Morrison and Will Johnson. I like Siobhan Revel. Denzel Burke, I've been really high on. Jamari as well is not in PFF yet. I forgot what school he plays for. Jamari Reeves, I think his name is. He's also one of my top 5 cornerbacks, but for some reason he's not in PFF yet. So yeah, Will Johnson or Benjamin Morrison at here, but I think Will Johnson is going to beat out Benjamin Morrison when it comes to combine stuff. I don't know, I like him more. He's very good. He is very good. I like Will Johnson, but Benjamin Morrison is right there for me. But I'm gonna give the slight edge to Will Johnson for his size, frame, his versatility. I like him going to that spot. For the Browns, I'm gonna grab Jalen Milroe out of Alabama. Yes, it's having a little bit of a down year down in Alabama, but I still like Jalen Milroe as a prospect. The way he can use his legs to make plays happen, his arm ability, his decision making, his in the pocket pressure resistance, just like Cam Ward. I think Jalen Milroe is right there behind Cam Ward. But Shedeur Sanders is still my number one quarterback. Yeah, I think Jalen Milroe at number 5 is pretty good. It's pretty good value, right? I think there's a lot of drafts where Jalen Milroe would also be in contention for the number 1 overall pick. But for me, it's gonna go where he's a third quarterback, but he is at number 5 getting drafted. A lot of quarterbacks. Then the Raiders at number 6. I'm gonna have them grabbing Ted McMillan out of Arizona. Ted to me is still the best number 1 overall receiver. He's dominant, just straight dominance. There's nothing else I can really say. 6'5", 212, has 1,000 yards, 17 yards reception, 6 touchdowns. He reminds me a lot of Brian Thomas Jr., but in a wide receiver, in an X receiver role. Brian Thomas Jr. was dominant last year, one of the best deep threats in college football last year. I think Ted McMillan has replaced him already as one of the best deep threats, and he's an X receiver build with X receiver route running. So I'm gonna go Ted McMillan at number 6 for the Raiders, who need a wide receiver. Then at number 7, the Patriots. They traded back down. They got a couple of draft picks. This is where they're going to grab Luther Burden out of Missouri. I think they need themselves an X receiver. I think Luther Burden is right behind Ted McMillan as a true dominant X receiver. Having a down year, it's okay. I definitely thought he'd be a little better this year, but you know, it's whatever. I'm not too mad about it. Luther Burden still has all the intangibles to me to be an X receiver, so I'm gonna go with Luther Burden at number 7 for the New England Patriots. Why did my thing go away? There we go. Then at number 8, we have the Miami Dolphins. I'm gonna grab Mason Graham. Losing Christian, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Christian Wilkins. Losing Christian Wilkins has definitely hurt this defense and this defensive line. We need to replace him. I like Mason Graham. I like Kenneth Grant as well, but Mason Graham to me is the little bit of a better prospect, more of a pass rusher. Look at his run stop rate. Look at his pass rush win rate. He's just an all-around really, really, really good defensive tackle. Again, Kenneth Grant is right behind him, but he's not a better run stopper, right? He's not a better pass rusher. I just think Mason Graham is dominance, and that's why I think the Dolphins need a D tackle. I think they'll both be really good. I'm not going to diss them at all. I think both of them would be really good, but Mason Graham to me is going to be the better fit. Then for the number 9 for the Saints, I'm going to go something that I don't think a lot of people are going to go for the Saints. I'm going to go Malachi Starks. This Saints defense has playmakers at every single layer of defense except safety, right? Yes, you have the Honey Badger, but I mean, he's like 35, 36. You don't have a future at safety. You have Paulson Adebo. You have I know what his name is. Our lads, New Orleans. What is the safety's name? In the corner's name. I can't think of his name. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Thank you. Alontae Taylor, Kool-Aid McKinstry is who I was thinking of. I thought they had Paulson Adebo. He's hurt right now. But yeah, you have Alontae Taylor, you have Kool-Aid McKinstry, you have Paulson Adebo, you have Tyrann Mathieu. Okay, he's not horrible, but how about we go and make sure the future of the secondary is really good? You have 3 really good cornerbacks. Grab another safety, have a true dominant safety in Malachi Starks. He's one of my favorite guys in this draft, period. Just really good, man. He's just really good. Really good run stopper. As you can see, he has, it does not say his interceptions. Where's his interceptions? There you go. 1 interception this year. I think he had 3 last year. He's a ball hawker with run stop ability. I really like Malachi Starks for this defense. Then the New York Jets. Let me move. As you guys know, I usually do mock drafts. I make it before I start recording, and then I go off of it. So that's why I keep looking over here to look at my mock. Then at number 10, the New York Jets. I am going to grab Kenneth Grant. Like I said, I'm fine going either way for these 2 teams. But for the Jets, you have Quinnen Williams, right? Or maybe it's not Quinnen Williams. I'm blanking at everyone's name. It's been a really rough week for me, guys. Whatever D tackle they have in New York, I think it is Quinnen Williams. Grab Kenneth Grant, put him next to Quinnen Williams, have a true dominant interior defensive line group. Again, not the run stopper that Mason Graham is, but still a really good pass rusher. I'm going to go Kenneth Grant Put him next to Quentin Williams. You have Jermaine Johnson. You have Hassan Reddick. Get a really potent defensive line for next year. Then the Dallas Cowboys. Guys, I don't know why I say it, but Ashton Janty seems like a Cowboy to me. I don't know what it is. Every time I think of Ashton Janty, I go, yeah, he's gonna be a Cowboy. They need a running back. They're starting Rico Dowdle, for God's sake. Ashton Janty, get him to Dallas. Get another playmaker next to CeeDee Lamb. I think that's exactly what Jerry Jones would do, is grab an Ashton Janty type of running back. On top of that, he wanted Kyle Pitts a few years ago. Jerry Jones loves offensive weapons. I think Ashton Janty is perfect for what they want to do. Then for the Indianapolis Colts, I'm going to go Benjamin Morrison. This is why I think Benjamin Morrison stops his slide. I think almost all these teams below him as well would take Benjamin Morrison. But the Indianapolis Colts, they've been rough the last couple of years on their defensive side, whether guys getting hurt, whether guys aging, then cutting them due to salary and injury reasons. Benjamin Morrison comes in and becomes a quarterback number 1 for the Colts day 1. Then the Bengals, they are going to grab, I don't know if they have him. There he is. Abdul Carter from Penn State. Abdul Carter has been one of my guys the last few weeks. Amazing pass rusher, really good run blocker as well. The Bengals need to start moving in the direction of cheaper and younger. They have Trey Hendrickson. They have Sam Hubbard. They just cut DJ Reader and BJ Hill last year. Brought back BJ Hill on a 1-year deal. But you can see them starting to do a youth movement on their defensive line. Cutting DJ Reader last year and letting him walk after they cut him. I think Trey Hendrickson's going to be next. I think he's really expensive. They want to start getting cheaper on the defensive line to try and keep T. Higgins and Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow. So Abdul Carter, I think, could be an amazing replacement for Trey Hendrickson. Then for the Seattle Seahawks, I am going to grab Will Campbell. There is never an issue on your team of having too many good tackles. Abe Lucas has been hurt all year. You have Charles Cross at left tackle. Put Will Campbell at right tackle, right? Put him at right tackle. When Abe Lucas comes back, him and Abe can fight for right tackle. Whoever loses moves in the guard, right? Then you have a really good guard. Like, having too many tackles is never a bad issue. And I think Will Campbell, whether he's at left tackle or Charles Cross is, or whichever ones go to right tackle, get yourself solidified tackles for the next 10 years who can protect your quarterback, right? Russ, one of the biggest issues I always had with Russ is that they never really built an offensive line for success. It's always been okay, solid offensive line for the Seattle Seahawks. Get yourself one of the most dominant tackle pairings in the NFL on rookie contracts. Let's do it, right? Let's save some money. Let's build for the future. Then for the LA Rams, this is gonna be my last quarterback. I think Quinn Ewers is the exact mold they want in a quarterback, right? They got Matt Stafford. I think Quinn Ewers can be a Matt Stafford replacement. Whether Matt Stafford's there for another year, 2 years, 3 years, draft Quinn Ewers, let him sit and develop in that Sean McVay offense. Let him play in a year or two, maybe even 3 years, and he's gonna boom, right? I think Quinn Ewers in this offense is exactly what they would want in a quarterback. Strong arm, powerful platform, has played in a lot of big games. Quinn Ewers to the Los Angeles Rams makes the most sense to me. Then the Buccaneers at 16. I'm not going to grab Isaiah Bond. I'm going to grab Emeka Egbuka, right? So I think we can all agree that Mike Evans is going to retire a Buccaneer. This is more of a Chris Godwin replacement, right? You can still have Chris Godwin on your team for the next year or two. But I think there is going to come a point where Chris Godwin does get cut by the Buccaneers or traded. Whether it's for salary reasons, whether it's for whatever reason, right? Usually it's about money. But I'm going to go Emeka Egbuka to eventually be the Chris Godwin replacement. Chris Godwin, I believe, just tore his Achilles as well. So he can come in and start day one for the Buccaneers. And once Chris Godwin comes back, Emeka Egbuka is their slot guy, right? We saw it with the Seattle Seahawks. They have Tyler Lockett. They have DK Metcalf. They still draft Jackson Smith and Jigba for a really powerful 3-man wide receiver group. Grab Emeka Egbuka. You have a lot of really solid guys as your wide receiver 3, 4, 5, 6 right now. Grab Emeka Egbuka, strengthen the offense of that wide receiver group even more. Keep giving Baker Mayfield as many targets and many talent as you can at wide receiver. Then for the San Francisco 49ers, this is going to be a little interesting, all right? I'm not going to grab Kelvin Banks. I'm going to grab his teammate, Cam Williams. So Cam Williams, I think long-term, has a higher ceiling than Kelvin Banks Jr. I think there's a lot more talent there. He's more raw. He's more athletic. And I think he can kick inside the guard if needed. So The 49ers, obviously, they have Trent Williams at left tackle. At right tackle, they have Connor McKivitz, who signed, I believe, a 1-year deal to come back to the team. Grab Cam Williams, right? Whether it's develop him for a year and then he starts at right tackle, move him in the guard and start day one next to Aaron Banks. Whatever you got to do. I think Cam Williams has a higher ceiling. I think he, again, more athletic, more agility in his base. Kelvin Banks is good, but he's not amazing. You know what I mean? He's good. But I think Cam Williams, you're trying to project more for the future, more of that zone-heavy team offense as well. They want more agile tackles and guards. I think Kelvin Banks has a little bit more weight on him. Cam Williams is more agile. That's why I went with Cam Williams over Kelvin Banks. Then the Chicago Bears. I'm going to go, again, probably another shocker. I'm going to grab Kevin Winston Jr. I can imagine a world where Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Winston Jr. are the best safety duo in the NFL, right? Both hard-hitting safeties, both have finesse as well. Kevin Winston played both box and deep safety his entire career. So him and Jaquan Brisker can trade off every other snap if they wanted to. A chess piece in the defense, right? I think that'd be perfect what the Bears are trying to do. They have really good corners right now. Grab another safety, strengthen that safety room. You don't need another linebacker. I thought about pass rusher with Nick Skyerton, but you signed DeMarcus Walker on a 3-year deal. You have Montez Sweat. You have guys that you've already drafted at D-tackle that are starting right now who are really solid. Kevin Winston's the only chess piece on defense I can see them actually drafting and starting day one. For the Broncos at 19, I'm gonna go a little bit down the depth charts at Jahad Campbell. I think Jahad Campbell is one of the most athletic linebackers in this class. Kind of like what JOK was coming out. Very rangy, very speedy, very athletic. But can a defensive coordinator get the most out of him, right? We saw with Isaiah Wilson. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name too. This issue, the minute I click record, all my NFL knowledge goes out the window. The linebacker for the Cardinals that went to the Giants on a 1-year deal, I think it's still with the Giants, who is a safety linebacker hybrid. I think it's Isaiah Simmons. Whatever his name is. You guys know who I'm talking about. The Cardinals drafted him, went to the Giants. And everyone thought he'd be like the next future of the linebacker position. So that's my example of Jahad Campbell, right? He's very fast, sideline to sideline speed, heavy hitter. He does a really good job in the run game. I think that the Broncos defense needs that type of athleticism at linebacker. You have Strand starting. That's crazy. You have Strand starting at linebacker in 2024. Grab Jahad Campbell, let him go out there and just run like 10 miles a game and absolutely demolish anyone that he comes across in the run game. Then for the Arizona Cardinals, this one I'm going to grab Kelvin Banks Jr. More of that power run game instead of the zone agile run game. They want more power guys at tackle with that James Conner backfield. Trey Benson for the future as well. And then also more of a passing offense as well, where it's, hey, make as much time as you can for Kyler. Once he's, scrambling in the backfield, take guys down, pancake block them. That's Kelvin Banks Jr., more of a scheme fit for the Cardinals than he was for the 49ers. The Cardinals have Paris Johnson Jr., have Kelvin Banks Jr. now for the future. Again, like I said, tackles that can protect Kyler Murray for the next 10 years. That's what you want. Have bookends on the offensive line for 10 years. The Chargers at 21. This could be more of a love pick. Get it? Love pick. Colston Loveland out of Michigan. I was surprised how little Michigan guys Harbaugh took in the last draft. I think this is exactly what they need, right? A really good blocking tight end who is a really good receiver as well. Colston Loveland, the only tight end I would even consider taking in the first round right at this moment. They need a tight end. They're starting from the Seattle Seahawks. See what I mean, dude? I hate how the minute I start recording, I forget everything. Los Angeles Chargers. Will Dissly. They're starting Will Dissly right now at tight ends. Colston Loveland is like a supercharged, turbocharged A+ Will Dissly. Better blocker, better receiver. I believe he's also 6'6", 6'5", 250. Really good frame. Only 20 years old right now. Go Colston Loveland. Give Justin Herbert another blocker and another receiver for the future. I thought about wide receiver, but they have a lot of guys they've drafted in the last 2 years that I think they need to let develop, especially if you draft someone in the first round. I'm not saying not draft a wide receiver in the second, third, fourth round if I'm the Chargers, but you just got Ladd McConkey, you have Darius Davis, you have Josh Palmer, you have Quentin Johnston. You got to go someone who can actually start for you day one, and that's Colston Loveland. For the Falcons, I am going to go edge. I am going to go Nick Skyerton. Those Texas A&M pass rushers are very good in the NFL. Big ups Myles Garrett. Nick Skelton, for me, is probably one of the best depth pass rushers in this class. Not amazing at one thing, really good at everything. I think the Falcons, they traded, they didn't draft a pass rusher high up in the draft last year, and then the pass rusher they did draft, unfortunately, tore his ACL before the season started. So they traded for Matthew Judon from the Patriots. He's been okay for them, but grab Nick Skelton, get yourself a premier #1 pass rusher, and that's why I think Nick Skelton can be in the NFL. Very good power rusher. I really like him. I really like Nick Skelton, and at 22 is really good value. Then at number 23, the Green Bay Packers are going to grab Siobhan Revell. He is a very good corner. To me, he's kind of like what Ennis Rakestraw and Kool-Aid McKinstry were to me last year. Very good corner, but he's not the best corner in the class. Other guy, he's a really good zone and a really good man coverage, but he doesn't excel at one thing, right? He's just very, very good overall. Siobhan Revell, I really like him. I hope he goes in the first round. I think all the rumors are saying that he's going in the first round, so I'm really happy about that, because to me, he is a first round talent at corner. Really good frame, really good guy. I really do hope that he gets drafted in the first round, like I think he will. The Baltimore Ravens at number 24. I think they would have gone Siobhan Revell if he hadn't gone to the Green Bay Packers. So they're gonna take their guy in Denzel Burke. Again, I think it's Jamari Reeves is the cornerback I'm thinking of. He would probably be, instead of Denzel Burke, good to the Ravens. But the Ravens corner has been a big issue. They just traded for Trey White. Trey White isn't the same he once was, but they did just trade for Trey White because of their cornerback issues. Marlon Humphrey's aging. Ardarius Washington isn't really good. Grab Denzel Burke. Get yourself a really solid corner who can start for you for the next few years. For the Texans at number 25, Kenyon Green is not the answer. Grab yourself Wyatt Millum. I think Wyatt Millum is going to come in and start at guard, right? He's 6'6", 317, but I think he's going to be an excellent guard in the NFL. Obviously, he played left tackle at West Virginia, but there's a lot of scouts that I've been reading that are really high on Wyatt Millum that teams are going to ask him to move in the guard. If the Texans can get a 6'6" guard with solid wingspan and dominant in the run game and pass game, that's going to be really good for the offensive line. Kenyon Green has just been not good for them. Not good for them. So move on from the experiments. Grab Wyatt Millum. Move him in the guard. Keep going about your day. For the Philadelphia Eagles at number 26, I'm going to grab Mykel Williams. Yes, I know. Georgia. But, I thought he was really good last year. I'm shocked that a lot of people are going lower and lower on him. I think, the Josh Sweat and, what's his name? Bryce Huff. That experiment is not really working. They're not getting the amount of pressure that they would want. Bryce Huff has been really subpar, lackluster this year. Grab Mykel Williams. Whether you want to sit him for a year or start him immediately, that's what I would do. Let Mykel Williams get in there, be a really solid run stopper, and a really good pass rusher as well. The Steelers at number 27. I'm going to grab Isaiah Bond. I think this is where Bond stops his slide. Really good value for the Steelers. I don't think Isaiah Bond could be that X receiver on any NFL team right now, but being the number 2 behind George Pickens, you have Mike Williams, you have Calvin Austin. That's a pretty respectable wide receiver core now. You have the true number 1 in George Pickens. You have Isaiah Bond and Mike Williams to be that number 2 receiver role. Then you have Calvin Austin, all the guys that you drafted in the last few years fight for that wide receiver 3, 4, 5 spot. That's not a bad wide receiver core. It's better than it is right now. Isaiah Bond, really solid speed, solid hands, okay route runner. That's what I think the Steelers should do at number 27. At number 28, the Vikings. I am going to grab a running back in Omarion Hampton. If I'm the Vikings, I would re-sign Aaron Jones to probably a 2 or 3 year extension, but get Omarion Hampton, right? Get the guy that can be opposite of Aaron Jones. Really good downhill running back. Has a really good elusive speed as well. He has everything that you would really want in a running back. The Vikings, I thought about defense, but they're making it work, right? They're making it work really well. So I'm going to go on the offensive side. You don't need a wide receiver. Offensive line is pretty solid. You have T.J. Hawkinson. You have a quarterback. Get J.J. McCarthy more help next year in Omarion Hampton. And I think that'd be really good for them. We don't know what J.J. McCarthy's going to be. Get yourself a really solid run game like he had at Michigan, and Omarion Hampton and Aaron Jones, and see what he can do off the play action, right? Then for the Washington Commanders, I'm going to grab a JT Overton. After Montez Sweat and Chase Young got traded, they've been not horrible at getting pressure, but definitely not as good as they once did. So grab LT Overton. This year at Alabama, as you can see, a 19.8% pass rush win rate. Not the best run stopper in the world, but get yourself a pass rusher. Get yourself a true #1 pass rusher. JT Overton can do that for you. The Buffalo Bills at number 30. I'm going to grab Deon Walker. D tackle's been a really big issue for them next to Ed Oliver. Whether it's Naquan Jones, Quentin Jefferson, Jordan Phillips. They've really had a rotation of D tackles opposite of Ed Oliver. I think Deon Walker from Kentucky could come in and be that immediate guy next to him. Really good run stop rate and pass rush win rate for a D tackle. And as you can see, he has played all over the defensive line. He's played pass rusher. He's played A and B gap. He's been off ball. Like, I think Deon Walker could be a really good guy next to Ed Oliver. That defensive line with Von Miller and Gregory Rousseau now gets even more elusive and unique with the schemes that they can do and put guys where they want. At number 31, I'm going to grab Jack Sawyer from Ohio State for the Detroit Lions. Again, not a great run stopper, but this defense already is really good at stopping the run. They were #1 last year in run stop win rate. I think they're top 5 again this year. The way that Aaron Glenn schemes the defense, they're really good at run stopping. They're not great at pass rushing, especially with Aiden Hutchinson getting hurt. They had to trade for Zadarius Smith. Get yourself a dominant pass rusher in Jack Sawyer. Again, 16.6 pass rush win rate. That's really good. Get someone who can come in opposite of Aiden Hutchinson and hopefully solve the issue of who's going to be next to Aiden Hutchinson for the next 5 years while we're trying to end the Super Bowl window trying to win. Then number 32, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to grab, Quinshon Judkins. Yes, the Chiefs need a lot of help, right? But what's most important is this run game. You have a lot of guys that you've drafted a wide receiver and you traded for that need time to develop. Xavier Worthy needs time to develop. Rashee Rice and DeAndre Hopkins are ready to play right now. You have Travis Kelce, who's not great, so maybe getting a tight end would be a good idea. But again, get this run game back. You had to sign Kareem Hunt, and he's been okay. He's not been bad. But are you going to re-sign Isaiah Pacheco? I don't know if they're going to. I really don't know if they're going to spend money on Isaiah Pacheco on running back. I would. But again, grab Quinshon Judkins. Keep this run game going. Alleviate as much pressure as you can off Patrick Mahomes. The defense, it's fine. Yes, you could have gone defense on this pick. But I think the defense has had so many draft picks the last couple of years. Invest in the run game. Invest in the offense. But yeah, that is my current up-to-date mock draft. A couple of trades, couple of quarterbacks taken, 3 running backs in the first round. You guys know I love my running backs. So yeah, if you guys enjoy it, please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to do something different, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace and goodbye.